All right, let's just dive right in. I want you to forget everything you think you know about your closet, because 2026, it's shaping up to be a huge turning point. We're talking about a complete shakeup in the world of prints and patterns.
So seriously, take a second and think about what you have in your wardrobe right now. Now, try to picture it 2 years from today. Is it going to be more the same, maybe a lot of quiet, muted tones? Or is it going to be something else entirely? Well, the big fashion weeks have already given us a clue, and trust me, it's way bolder than you might think.
And that's really the bottom line here. After a few seasons of minimalism and restraint, the verdict from Paris, Milan, and London is officially in, and it's unanimous. Prints are back, and they are not being shy about it. So let's break down the 3 big stories that are going to define what you see in stores and what you're going to want to wear.
Okay, so first up is this really massive shift in how fashion is looking at the natural world. It's moving away from the kind of aggressive, obvious stuff we've seen before, and it's heading towards something much more atmospheric and honestly more thoughtful.
For years, for decades, animal print meant one thing, that big cat energy, right? Loud, high-contrast leopard, zebra, and snake prints. Well, 2026 is swapping all of that for a much softer, woodland-coded vibe. Think less predator, more poetic. We're talking about the rise of the fawn.
Tory Burch really set the stage for this one. This new Bambi print is all about these gorgeous, dappled fawn spots. And the color palette, it's so warm. You've got these ochres and sun-faded tans that create a look that just feels more emotionally grounded, not so in your face. It's still animal print, but it's been totally reimagined as something gentle and poetic.
Now, you know what's interesting? The exact same kind of evolution is happening with florals. They're basically splitting into 2 totally different paths. On one side, you have these beautiful 2-dimensional botanical prints. Graphic leaves and painterly vines that really add a story to the fabric. But then on the other side, something way more textural is going on.
And this is that second path. This is where it gets really cool. The flowers are literally lifting right off the garment. At fashion houses like Chanel, we're seeing these incredible blooms created through appliqué, layered organza, and super intricate pleating. So the flower isn't just a pattern on the dress anymore. The flower is the dress. The texture becomes the entire statement.
All this talk of texture and story leads us perfectly into our second major theme. Designers are looking back to the past, but, and this is key, they're not just copying it. They are remixing all these historical details to create a whole new kind of modern romance.
And what's so fascinating is that this trend has already started to trickle down from the high fashion runways. Have you noticed this? Ruffled collars softening up sharp blazers, or maybe a delicate little lace trim on a pair of jeans. These romantic details are already being woven into our everyday clothes, which grounds this big idea in reality.
But here's the thing. Romance doesn't just mean one thing in 2026. On one hand, you've got Chloe, with its whisper light, fluid lace, and these cascading ruffles that have a really soft boho feel. And then, on the complete other end of the spectrum, you have Alexander McQueen giving us this powerful counterpoint. Sharp, asymmetric ruffles and geometric laser-cut lace. It's romance, but with a serious edge.
So where are all these romantic ideas even coming from? Well, designers are basically becoming historians. They are deep diving into the fashion archives with a very specific goal, to find inspiration for prints and silhouettes that they can totally reinterpret to feel fresh and new for today. And, this isn't happening in a vacuum. A designer like Erdem is looking to the ornate damask-like florals of the Rococo era, while Miu Miu is having fun with 1950s gingham and polka dots. This entire movement is being fueled by our cultural obsession with period dramas and that kind of nostalgia that just thrives on social media. Fashion is basically telling the stories that we're all already watching. And that brings us to our third and final theme, which is a total 180 from subtlety. This is all about joy, it's about expression, and it's about the idea that sometimes more is definitely more. So, forget all the old rules about clashing. The new directive for geometric patterns is just to go for it. Designers like Bak Mai are literally stacking polka dots right on top of plaid in a single outfit. The key here is to play with scale, so mixing tiny microdots with huge oversized checks, and to clash your patterns and your colors with total confidence. This whole embrace of boldness is directly tied to a concept that you might have heard of called dopamine dressing. And it's a really simple idea. What you wear can genuinely make you feel happier. And the #1 tool for doing that, bright, bold, unapologetic color. And we are not talking about just any colors. The runways from Versace to Prabal Gurung were just filled with these specific, totally unexpected, and electric combinations. Think bubblegum pink smashed right up against lime green, or sunny yellow with sky blue, or even hot pink right next to cherry red. It's all about creating looks that literally vibrate with energy and optimism.
So, you bring all these ideas together, and what does it all mean? It means that fashion in 2026 isn't just about the clothes you put on your back. It's about telling a story.
So let's just break it down one last time. For 2026, you've got 3 really clear narratives you can play with. You can lean into the new nature if you want a warm, grounded feeling with things like the Bambi print and those 3D florals. Or you can embrace the modern romance with its remixed historical details like ruffles and lace. Or you can just go for pure, joyful expression with those bold, graphic statements.
At the end of the day, these trends are just tools. They're a whole new language for you to use to express yourself. So I guess the only question left is, when you get dressed in 2026, which story are you going to tell?